People ask about how do I boost testosterone? How about lowering your fucking sleep, your stress levels? How about getting some sleep optimization? The sex hormones, the androgens, don't come out and play if the stress hormones are elevated. And most of us are living in chronic elevated cortisol. Cortisol has a half-life of 6 hours. If you drink caffeine, it's gonna activate cortisol. Staying up late, you'll sleep when you're in the grave type of thing. I gotta wake up before the sun, but I'm going to bed at 12. That will catch up to you. Guys that are older, they went after the money, they got the money. The money's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Now they'll do anything to get their health back.
Welcome back to another podcast. I am Bridger Rogers. This is Bridging the Gap, and today we have Mr. Troy Casey. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me on.
This is a long time coming. I know that you and I bumped into each other down at a local event here in Arizona, and one of the things I admired about you, like as soon as I met you, is your energy, your confidence, and then your vision. And so I loved picking up a copy of your book, Ripped at 50, if you want to show the audience what it looks like.
Ripped at 50, A Journey to Self-Love.
I love that. And we'll talk about that on the podcast here today. One of the things that I think that my audience is going to find most fascinating is that you're completely natural and 58 and you're ripped.
100%.
100%. So we're going to talk about how to increase T levels on this podcast. We're going to talk about how he's been able to get hundreds of thousands, millions of views on social media, and how he's been able to really, again, discover himself through this journey. And so I'm excited to jump in, Troy.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
So let's start off with what you're doing now, because I know that was the most exciting thing that you were excited to share with the audience is like, what's your vision with what you're doing now with Certified Health Nut, and what's the mission? And we'll kind of kick it off from there.
Yeah. So my mission and vision is to raise human consciousness and change all systems. My vision is clean air, water, soil, and equitable systems for all mankind in my lifetime. And so I was sitting in the Amazon in 2006 drinking ayahuasca with the Shipibo Indians. And I was working with an herbal company. So I understood a little bit of the mechanics of commerce down there. However, I watched my Indian friends get pushed off their land for oil reserves. They were building a big dam down there as well. So they'll just get pushed off their land and they'll end up in the big cities, Lima, selling baskets to tourists. And so I'm trying to understand kind of the way of the world. I read John Perkins' Confessions of an Economic Hitman. The World Bank and the IMF does these loans to third world countries, build infrastructure with contracts with Halliburton, Bechtel. So it's very incestuous, right? Big business is very incestuous. And what they want is the natural resources. So they give them these loans, they build the infrastructure, the roads, the waterways, the dams, and then they ask for, okay, pay the loans back. Oh, you don't have the money? Okay, no problem. Then just give us your natural resources and a slave wage to pull it out of the ground. And so this happened in Rwanda with oil, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria are pipelines. Libya is the number 9 producer of oil. Iraq's number 2, Venezuela's number 4, and we see what happened to that country. So if you're not playing game with the economic hitman, well, they'll send in the jackals, they'll do the economic sanctions, and then if that doesn't work, they'll just send in the American military. And so we saw that happen in Iraq. And so I'm sitting in the jungle in the Amazon and, flying on ayahuasca, and my heart's wide open, right? And I'm doing my best to understand how I can make a difference in the world and my connection to the earth as well. My intention to go down to the Amazon the first time was to open up my heart and connect with the divine feminine in all of its aspects. And the rainforest, the heart of the Amazon, that's, Mother Earth, right? The divine feminine, the essence of it. And so I was really connected, and I felt a huge responsibility. Like, fuck, I've been given these talents, these gifts, the gift it is to be a human being. Like, what the fuck am I doing with my time and energy, right? Who the fuck am I, right? I spent, all my 20s trying to chase paper. Like, oh, who am I as a young man? I don't know. Let's go make money. Let's go here. Let's study mathematics, because in college they'll tell you mathematics and science will make more money, right? So I studied mathematics. That ended up being a dead end road. Or not a dead end road. It was just a long path, and I didn't really enjoy it. Then I found the fashion industry and modeling, and I moved to Milan and traveled and lived in Paris and London and Miami, New York, Tokyo. And that was great for the traveling, but the industry was full of fuckery, right? It was all sexual dysfunction and drug fueled, and it was just a weirdo business. And so I was chasing money for a while, and so I was sitting in the Amazon in 2006 going, who am I? What am I here to do? What can I do with my tremendous gifts? And so the vision came for Certified Health Nut, and I boiled that down to my mission is to raise human consciousness and change all systems. So that's commerce, economy, energy, education, farming, every system that we see up there in the United States of America and worldwide right now, because everything's turned into globalism and the internet's intertwined everything. So we're all connected. And so it's just time for new systems. We've poisoned the food. We've poisoned the air. We've poisoned the water. We've poisoned other people's water. We hear what happened with the spill in Ohio. It was East Palestine, Ohio. They had a huge chemical spill. Chemical spills are natural. They're normal. What does that do to the chemical surface runoff to the water? What does that do to the soil? How does that affect the future of humanity? Oh, 70% of the American people are obese or overweight. 9 out of 10 Americans are metabolically dysfunctional. Oh, we are the environment, as above, so below. How do we expect the world to be healthy if we are not healthy ourselves? And so we're not talking about popping a pill and healthy. I went into a hospital a long time ago, and I had my Health Nut shirt on, and people were like, health, you mean like wash your hands? Like people's ideas of what health are, and this was a hospital with big fat nurses in an elevator, and they go, oh, Health Nut, ha, ha, ha. Like, what do you mean? Like wash your hands and stuff? And so there's different understandings, but health is mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. And ultimately, I boil down into the books, the 9 pillars of health, or in physics, they call it first principles. You can't have this. You can't have that without having this first, right? First principles. So the body needs movement. The body needs sleep. The body needs nutrition. The body needs hydration. The body is 70% water. The brain's 90% water. It may be a good idea to source the purest, high vibrational water that's actually going to assimilate into the body and give you that hydration that you need. The body needs nature. It needs sunlight. It needs grounding. These are going to optimize your journey here on planet Earth. And when we are all optimized, and we're optimized in our creativity as well, what can we do then? I mean, we can drop intercontinental ballistic missiles and nuclear warheads on people. We can do some crazy shit on this planet, right? We can create the UFC and the NFL and computer programs and video games and connect people globally. What else can we do? Can we do things that isn't about fucking over other? Can we do things that are actually going to support and help each other? And at the cornerstone of that is the money system. Obviously, the money system is designed to enslave people. No one's free until we're all free. And the debt slave system, the fake fiat currency, non-gold back, oil-based petrodollar, and we have a whole economy based around oil, Rockefeller money. Rockefeller started the WHO. Rockefeller started the UN. So the way of the world is all connected, and it's monopolized by these major industries. Not bad or good, because I definitely benefit on a lot of that. I drive a car sometimes. Do we have to steal from others? Do we have to keep others at bay? Do we have to keep others as slaves? Because let's face it, where does the cell phone technology come from? Where does the cobalt come from? Where does the lithium come from? What mines in Africa? What children are extracting that out of the earth? What does it take to bring this stuff to market? What does it take to bring an Apple computer to market? And so it's just time to optimize. And I do believe that we can do things in a better way when we even things out. And I'm calling forth the gift economy. Ultimately, we all have natural born gifts. And so we all have our effortless genius. You study this in success. Everyone should stay in their lane, right? Some people like to cook food. Some people like to grow food. Like there's seriously people, you and me are entrepreneurs. We live in the modern world and we like it here. There's some people that don't like the city. They want to be out into nature. They want to be in the dirt. They want to work with animals. They want to do things in a different way. Not everybody has to sit behind a computer to make money or work for a corporation. And so we all have natural born gifts. I have handmade camel hair socks from Uzbekistan. These things are the creme de la creme. The energy in the camel hair, the chi, the life force energy for my little 50's in the wintertime, right? This shit's fucking insane. My friend's grandmother hand sewn that shit, right? And it's like everyone's got these unique gifts. Right? And nothing is more important than, let's say, food and nourishment of the children. And what did we do to women? We brought them feminism and burn your bra and cook your own food. 1973, Gloria Steinem worked with the CIA to bring this ideology and this propaganda to the people. Who's not for women's empowerment? Everybody is, right? I am, no problem. But feminism is bullshit. Burn your bra, you cook your own food. I'm going to work for another man corporation. Right? And what happened to the family unit? Well, 70% of the American people are obese or overweight now. Who are the natural nurturers of the family? And so when we get back to basics, right? Get back to basics. There are 4 human needs: water, food, shelter, and fire. Fire is represented with technology today. And also fire, energy, powers those devices as well. And so but those are 4 needs. Everything else is a want, right? And so if we get back to basics, right? Food is essential. We're poisoning each other. We're poisoning ourselves. Most of my clients are dealing with gut dysfunction, hormone disruption from eating too many xenoestrogens, plastics in the environment that are affecting the hormones, low testosterone, limp dick syndrome. You've got people on Viagra in their 20s and 30s right now. This is insanity, right? This isn't the way life is supposed to be. And so, and there is a better way. I am living proof of that. My mentor is living proof of that. His 15,000 students worldwide, a lot of my colleagues, are living proof that it is capable, even in a sick world. And we are here to change the world. My mentor has a good quote from H.T. Hurt, a scientist from the 20th century. And he said that it takes 100 years to wipe out 1,000. It takes 100 years. It takes 100 years of bullshit to wipe out 1,000 years of truth. Would you agree with that? Because that's what we're living, and that's what we lived in the 20th century with 100 years of propaganda from Edward Bernays, who was Freud's nephew, that brought that out into public relations and what we see in marketing, television marketing, advertising, everything and that's what we saw from the consumerism from mankind in the 20th century. So if that's true, flip that yin-yang coin over, right? 10 years of truth will wipe out 100 years of nonsense. Let's get fucking busy.
Woo, that's fire, right? Man. I love that. Talk to me about truth.
Truth. Well, truth is kind of funny because everyone thinks that their truth is the truth, right? So philosophically, if you look at, say, from Plato to Descartes, some of the best philosophers on the planet that we've had, the only unifying truth, ultimately, the ultimate truth is I am. Here, right now. The past doesn't exist. The future hasn't happened. So it's the present moment. That's where the presence is. Right?
I love that.
The present moment has the gifts, right? So ultimately, we can just say we are here right now. I don't live in Iraq or Afghanistan or any of those war-torn countries that give us the fuel here. I don't know what's happening over there. People ask me about Gaza and Israel, and they want to make a stand, off of what? What I saw in the news? You believe the fucking news?
Exactly.
I don't know what the fuck's going on over there. I know there's a bunch of fuckery,
Yeah.
politically and geopolitically,
Yeah.
but I don't claim to know everything. I know that most people don't know who funded Hitler, right?
Who did fund Hitler?
The Bush family gave him the oil, right? IBM gave him the computers and the numbering system for the tattoos. And then Ford Motor Company gave the motors for the Sherman tanks.
What?
Yeah, and there was other layers of funding, right? And then my understanding is that Hitler ran out of oil, right, when it was no longer serving them. And then most people don't understand where all the Nazi scientists that did torture research projects on lab rats known as human beings, living human beings, operating them while they're still alive with no anesthesia, and seeing what's happening in their organs after injecting them with poison. What happened to all those scientists? What happened? Well, there's a thing called Operation Paperclip where we brought those scientists and the Japanese scientists, and we brought them to the United States. They work in the pharmaceutical industry, they work at NASA, and they work for the media companies. Operation Paperclip, look it up. And so there's a lot more fuckery than just meets the eye, right? There's history, right? And then you can look at the people's history, the people that lost the war. I think Howard Zinn's got a book called The People's History of the United States. And so there's always two views of history, but the victors get to write the history books, right? But when we start to understand the war and the geopolitics and what was really going on and what even happened the war before with World War I, we start to study history. And then we can understand it a little bit better and evolve beyond it, because we're still living with the Nazi technology, the propaganda from Joseph Goebbels, how to shift human consciousness, right? Edward Bernays created public relations, and you can reference this in a movie called The Century of Self. It's a 4-hour BBC documentary you can find on YouTube. The Century of Self. And so Freud's nephew was Edward Bernays. And so he took all that technology and the psychological information from Freud, which the basis of psychology is manipulation.
What's going on, guys? It's Bridger. Listen, a lot of you guys watching the podcast want to know how you guys can get a hold of me. Best way is to join my Bridge Builder Brotherhood and shoot me a DM on School. First link in the description. You've got exclusive content, monthly coaching calls with me, and I'm posting all the time in there. It's like our own little social media platform. First link in the description, completely for free. Let's get back to the podcast.
The basis of marketing is psychology, right? Manipulation, persuasion.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sure that cuts into your market a little bit. But, marketing is messaging, right?
Yeah.
But you don't see a lot of authentic messaging because most of the products on the market are garbage, right? Most of the stuff on the market is garbage. There's not a lot of authentic, true. I love the word authentic because I believe that's where we're moving forward. I believe the new currency will be authenticity, right? If you're fake, people can see that online. And still people are trying to wing it like that. And I worked in Hollywood for many years. So they would polish a turd, put it on a television commercial and be like, ta-da, and then people would buy it, right? That's old Hollywood. Movies, they used to be, these big action movies, and you'd be on these sets and there's 200 people making sure that the shot is perfect. So you have all this perfection in Hollywood, but now, with the advent of these phones, when I moved to Hollywood, you had to beg for a piece of film just to get in a student film. It would cost $75,000 to rent a Panavision truck. And that's what everybody shot on, right? These big film cameras and all the dollies and the tripods that they lived on. Well, in 2011, digital surpassed film. And so, and these things now are the cutting edge. I know I have my own movie studio, my home production house, just with this phone. And people are more into voyeurism, right? You just look at the Black Mirror and you talk to it, and people want to see more authenticity. They can see it in your eyes. They can feel it in your vibration viscerally, right? You can still bullshit people a little bit to a certain degree, and you see this all over the internet. There's guys all jacked up on steroids, TRT, and they're like, buy my secret diet and exercise program, right? I'm not going to tell you I'm on $12,000 worth of PEDs like Liver King, right? But this is the norm, right? In health and fitness, right? This is the norm. You've got yoga chicks with fake boobs and fake lips and Botox and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because yoga is popular and it seems spiritual, right? And so there's just so much bullshit. So I think maybe the conversation instead of truth is what's bullshit?
Yeah, what's bullshit out there? All these fake gurus, talking about, like you said, steroids. Yeah,
Well, they're not talking about steroids.
Yeah.
They're
You don't think
implying that their liver
Yeah.
pills are going to make you look like a fucking steroided, jacked up motherfucker.
That's true, yeah. What are your thoughts on Liver King?
Well, Liver King, look, first of all, I love human beings, man. They're fucking funny, right? And, on my platform, I call them psycho chickens, right? Because we all have the sum total of greatness and the sum total of darkness inside of us. And most people are running around like, not me. I got no shadow, no dark side on me. I'm perfect,
Yeah.
And they're full of shit. And they're ripping people off on the back end. And most people are just full of shit and they don't admit it. The key to it is to admit your own bullshit, right? Admit your own dark side. Admit be vulnerable about your shortcomings and then integrate them. It's at the party anyways. People like me or intuitive people are going to be able to pick up on that no matter what anyways. And so you might as well be honest with people. And so Liver King is just another human being out there. He's got a great, marketing idea, right? Right? I don't know whether
It's like a movie.
I don't know whether he's a fucking cattle farmer or his parents own, cattle farms or he bought a cattle farm but boy, oh boy, he's all about liver, right?
Yeah.
And liver is good medicine and it can help with methylation and amino acids that are in muscle meats. And it's got, a very dense nutritional profile and liver's great. And so, but it's not going to make you look like that. And boy, oh boy, he went on Logan Paul and all sorts of other. I really got a kick out of him. He's a great entertainer. And his story is fucking so drilled into his head. He's either on Adderall, because his fucking story, he's on something, right? Because his story is fucking drilled into his head and he's fucking living it, right? He's living in his own fucking movie. And he's believing the thing. He's a fucking great character.
A great actor, yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. I can only be myself,
Yeah.
It's such a, being a liar or bullshitting, and my biggest fear is bullshitting myself, right? So I can't bullshit other people. And so, holding up that type of lie has got to be, exhausting. Well, lo and behold, the emails came out and he's been on $12,000 worth of PEDs or whatever you want to call it, steroids. And that shit looked like steroids. Everybody kind of knew.
Yeah.
But then he goes on Logan Paul and all these other big podcasts, and he's like, no, I'm good. It's the liver. Actually, what you need to do is eat these testicles. If you scroll back to like 2012, 2013, I have a video on my YouTube channel called Paleo Superfoods, I think it's called. And I've been eating bison testicles for years. I had a rock climbing friend.
Oh, yeah?
And I was, they all went to the Agenus Vonderplants food club in Los Angeles. And we used to get North Star bison and organs and adrenals. And I've been eating raw organs for years. And so Liver King, fuck, man, bless him. Because there's one side of him that I really like and I want to be his friend. And then there's the other side. I'm like, dude, you're fucking bullshitting people. What's the difference between you and, half these fucking bullshit sales guys out there and, or fucking politicians, right? It's like, the war in Iraq is about weapons of mass destruction, and we could have a mushroom cloud in the United States of America unless we go and bomb that guy, Saddam Hussein, that we gave all the mustard gas to in the first place. And we gave him the possibilities of building these weapons of mass destruction too. Our CIA worked with Donald Rumsfeld in 1983. But we're not going to talk about that on the television show today. What we're going to talk about is weapons of mass destruction, and we do not want a mushroom cloud in the United States of America because we're all about freedom. Freedom! Right. That was George Bush. Remember
That
him?
was
You,
good,
you're
man.
probably too young.
Which one?
The second one.
Oh, the second one.
You know,
Oh
it's just
yeah,
these
yeah.
fucking
I was a
politicians,
little kid.
man.
Yeah.
You know, look, I've
So
got
how-
conservative and liberal values, but the
Yeah.
fucking politics have become a fucking shit show.
So how does a young man with all this? Because I think like I see it, a lot of my friends see it. It's all bullshit. Like I've tuned out of the news. I don't watch the news.
Good.
I don't think it's real. I think it's fake.
Yeah.
So like, but I know there's an election coming up. How do I get in my information? How do I make a good decision when, you know, I'm sitting here with a bunch of bullshit?
Yeah, I mean the best information you're going to get is from meditation, downloading, going into nature. Go take 4-7 days off, you know, by yourself or with your boys and into nature with no cell phones. You're going to get the downloads right there, right? The energy is very powerful right now on the planet, right? There's new energies coming. That's the age of Aquarius, right? There's all sorts of cosmic energy, but we don't need to go super woo-woo. Bottom line is quiet your mind, and all the answers are going to be right there. And then you just put one step in front of the other. Maybe you have a spiritual inclination to the ineffable, to maybe you call it God. I'm so not into religion. Religion's like politics. If I could start taking somebody's side and somebody wants to argue with you, it's like, I don't give a fuck. You know, it's like, you know, it's like there's shit that you can't explain. All right, let's go with that. All right, universal consciousness. All right, I'm part of that, and the world's pretty wild. And all right, universal consciousness, God, whatever. God's an easy, like, kind of, it just says the ineffable, great spirit, right? How about that? And so, you know, take the time each day or a few times a week, whatever works for you in the modern world. Because I'm not the type of person that likes to push meditation on people, because the world's crazy and everybody's addicted to their phones, and, you know, sitting quietly is a big job for some people. So sometimes running could be a meditation for you. Get the runner's high. Sometimes extreme focus and heavy weights can be that meditation for you. Sometimes going up here to the Gateway in the McDowell Mountains and just getting away from people as much as the road less traveled, the trails less traveled. Get out there. Go up to Sedona, maybe. Go where there's no people, maybe getting some cold water. Like, get in tune with the energetics. You know, that's the real news.
Yeah.
Because I think there has been, you know, I do call forth a peace and harmonious world. Will we get there? You know, that is my dream, my part of my legacy, my vision. But ultimately, I got to find peace inside myself first, right? I live in this world too, you know. I can go bonkers sometimes too, you know, and like, you know, I've got, you know, relationship problems. I've got, you know, finances. I'm trying to navigate the real world just like anybody else. And so I get to find peace in my heart.
Yeah.
I get to find peace in my relationships. I get to find peace and harmony. Not only that, with my health. I mean, we've trashed the environment, right? We have literally trashed the environment.
Especially in the United States.
And you see the pollution that's up in the air, whether you call it chemtrails or whether you just call it, you know, airplane pollution. We're still breathing that in, right? And then you look at some of the top guys in autoimmune, or Robert Kennedy Jr.'s research on 5G and vaccines. And I've gone over a lot of that research as well. It's like we've poisoned ourselves. And then you've got GMOs and pesticides and herbicides, and you've got a lot of research done by the American military, and organics have outperformed. They did research on the Asians, right? Because they would take a hectare of land and it would outperform growing our monocrops here, right? 1 acre or 1 hectare of land in Asia grown organically would overproduce, right? You could produce as much food as we could here for 2 people on 1 acre. You know, there's a lot of research done on that. The British Soil Association.org, I do believe, has a lot of that research. And so it comes down to soil science, permaculture, growing food in a certain way that's beneficial. It's not just a commodity. It's not wheat, oats, and barley that's traded on the stock exchange and living in silos, collecting mold.
Mold. Talk about mold for a second. Mold is I've had my experience.
Well, again, we've trashed the environment, right? And so fungus, parasites, these are Mother Nature's garbage cleaners. And so mold, I mean, let's face it. So if you get a drip of water and there's moisture in the house, and then there's sunlight and moisture and sunlight and moisture, that can create mold and mold spores. And black mold is dangerous. It's deadly. I was exposed to it from 2010 to 2013. The sprinklers went off in my penthouse the years before I lived there, because I asked one of my neighbors after a while. He was all stuffed up we were taking the elevator, and I was like, I asked him some questions, and he's like, yeah, we had floods here. And then I started to look at the ceilings, and there was marks on the ceilings. And then we had a test there, and there was Strachobacterus, which was black mold, and Aspergillus, penicillium. And we lived there for 3 years, and I had walking pneumonia one year, and I had upper respiratory infections. I got hit again last year because my son plays hockey, and some of these hockey arenas aren't well taken care of. You know, slumlords exist, right?
Yeah.
And so look, we're in symbiotic relationship with these, fungus spores, mold spores, and once you're affected, everyone's, affected differently.
Yeah.
Right. People are more sensitive, and I really have to watch my health because of that. I walked into a building last year. My son was playing hockey. Just a rundown building. And after a big rainstorm during, the summertime-ish, like late September, extremely hot and then moist. And it was like this cloud of black mold. I could just feel it. And my son got sick a couple times, and then I pulled him out of there. So black mold is everywhere. I mean, Dave Asprey, pretty famous guy on the internet, marketer on the internet. He had a movie called Moldy. I think you can find it on YouTube.
I've heard about that, yeah.
Shemaine Nugent. I'm friends with Ted Nugent and his family. His wife also got poisoned in a new house. They had a new house built. Because think about it. You have these houses, they're half built, and then the rain comes in.
Yeah.
And then the construction workers go away, and then they come back, or the snow. And so, I don't have all the solutions, but mold is a real deal.
What has worked for you? Because if they go to your Instagram, because there's a lot of really out there stuff, and I love it. Like talk to me about some of these strategies that you've learned to maintain your health, your youth, and just vitality in life.
Well, there's nothing new under the sun, right? And what I cover in my book and in my coaching program and in my curriculum are the basics. So if you walk into a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu dojo or you learn Kung Fu, they're going to teach you punch, block, kick. And you're going to replicate punch, block, kick for a couple of years to move up, right? You can't get a black belt unless you know the basics, right? And it's a replication. A master has only replicated the basics over and over again. Eventually, you can come up with some fancy stuff, or just because you're in the present moment, you're so aware and you punch, block, kick so many times that you can see it coming and you have that sixth sense. So, but most people that are fat, sick, and nearly dead, which is the majority of the populace currently, they need to go back to the basics. The body needs organic food. I'm here to tell you, yeah, the certifications, some are better than others, and organic food in a box, processed organic food is not like farmer direct, pesticide free. You want the best organics you can, but call it organic, call it biodynamic. Your grandparents used to just call it food, right? But you need real food.
Yeah.
Right? Farmer direct as much as possible. Whole foods, vegetables, meats, organ meats, whether you can get it wild. The body needs water. Source the best water that you can. I've got a molecular hydrogen machine at home. I have a vitalizer that spins it into a vortex water machine. I have a reverse osmosis system that zeroes out the contaminants of the actual water. Then that's kind of dead. Then you got to restructure it with minerals, or the molecular hydrogen machine. And so do the best you can with water. Findaspring.com, get free water right out of the earth. You can go up in Sedona, you can harvest it. You can buy, 10, 15 5-gallon jugs, take it up in your truck, go fill it up once a month, whatever. It's possible. So source good water. Body needs movement. Stagnant body of water turns into a cesspool. You want cancer? Don't move, right? and so body needs movement every day. You don't need strenuous exercise. The body needs movement. Tell the story about your dad.
Oh yeah. So before we turned on the cameras, I met Troy at the event, and I was telling him, I was like, hey, I'm having trouble getting my dad moving, and when he lives in Idaho and stuff, and he was telling me about Qigong and fasting and stuff. And so I shared with some things, and so he started fasting. He started doing a little bit of movement, a little Qigong, and he's down like 15 pounds. He was like at 220, now he's like 205, and he wants to keep moving down, but he's down 15, and he's feeling better. He's looking healthier, and he's almost 70. Right. So, just he's gone through like 4 neck and back surgeries. So he can't do a lot of like strenuous stuff like I'm doing, but just teaching him that he can just start to move has been game changer for him.
What's going on, guys? It's Bridger. Listen, a lot of you guys watching the podcast want to know how you guys can get a hold of me. Best way is to join my Bridge Builder Brotherhood and shoot me a DM on school. First link in the description. You've got exclusive content, monthly coaching calls with me, and I'm posting all the time in there. It's like our own little social media platform. First link in the description, completely for free. Let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah. So Qigong is a miracle, and it's crazy because you do a little bit of Qigong and a bunch of pounds fall off. I've got another student. He lost about 80 pounds in a year, and a lot of it was done with shifting his nutrition to real food and then doing a little fasting. I put him on my detox as well. But the last 20, 25 pounds has been Qigong and real gentle movement, lowering stress levels. So Qi means energy, Gong means practice. It's an energy cultivation practice. So body needs sunlight, right? They want you to slather sunscreen on you, but that's just more chemicals. So remember, there's only 4 needs, right? So you don't need fucking sunscreen. There's only 4 needs.
Especially in winter.
Right. Well, totally. And your food should be your real sunscreen. The antioxidants that you're putting into the body, and the nutrition, the fats. Right? If you're putting seed oils into the body and then you're going out and burning your skin, well, that's going to fry all those oils in your subcutaneous level of fat in your epidermis, right? And so yeah, it's like eat real food. You don't need sunscreen, right? There's only 4 human needs: water, food, shelter, fire, right?
Yeah.
And so go back to basics. Continue to go back to basics. We're in relationship with everything and everyone. So it's a good idea to practice some forgiveness and some gratitude, right? It's a real good idea because we can get really hung up on they fucked me over and this and that. And we got cancel culture now. Oh, he's a fucking jerk. The fucking guy's a jerk, man. That fucking Trump guy, man, orange man, bad, God damn it, right? And then now we got Joe Biden. Oh, Jesus Christ, the fucking liberals are just a bunch of fucking loony bins, man. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So we're all like pointing the finger at other people. Okay, well, what about me? All right, well, let's fucking forgive those fucking people. It takes a whole bunch of weirdos to make the world go round.
Yeah.
Hence the
We're all
psycho
fallen.
chicken.
Yeah.
So the bottom the bottom line is we're in relationship with people. That's another pillar in my book.
Yep.
Nature pillar. Breathing mechanics, super important.
Let's talk. Yeah, breathing.
Nasal breathing, right? Super important. James Nestor was on Joe Rogan, and he went over a lot of that. And his book, Breathe, goes over a lot of that. Did a lot of research. Plugged up his nose. Within 2 weeks, he had like diseases, diabetes and stuff, of all things. And so taping your mouth shut at night, training with your mouth closed, there's a meditation in my breathwork course called Anapana. I practiced Vipassana meditation for many years. And the first part of the meditation is Anapana. It's just focusing the breath coming in and out of the nose. Deep breaths. So your overall respiration is directly related to cellular respiration, and cellular respiration is related to your metabolism, metabolic function, overall well-being, manufacturing of serotonin, dopamine, testosterone, So you want good health, you want good testosterone, get your breathing on point. And so most of us are neck breathers, mouth breathers. I'm a little congested right now, but sometimes I tape my mouth up at night, but I always try and ride my bicycle with my mouth shut as much as possible. And then I like to do breath work as well, really open up the diaphragm. And in my breath work course, I have a way to reprogramming using a Qigong exercise to reprogram the diaphragm so that you're breathing optimally when you're rested, right? The diaphragm opens up. Diaphragm opens up. You're breathing into your dantian, your lower abdomen, pelvic floor. Elliot Hulse used to say breathing into your balls, breathing into your toes. Really getting all that oxygen in there. And so I have a Qigong exercise that opens up the diaphragm. I challenge people to 100 consecutive days. So reprogramming the diaphragm so that you're breathing optimally, whether you're stressed, whether you're sleeping, whether you're sitting, whether you're working out. And so it's the diaphragm is constantly opening. And so people want to lose weight, people want to get into better shape, optimize your breathing. You know, and Kundalini yoga and pranayama and Qigong breath work. These things have been around for 5,000 years. So Hicks and Gracie is big into breath work, king of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yep.
So work with your breathing. So
what can we do right now? Like if, let's say I'm stressed, I'm anxious. A lot of guys have ADD, ADHD. They can't focus. They're stressed. They're thinking about 1,000 things. They sit down to work. How can I get grounded, centered with my breath work? Because I found it's been very effective, especially some of your exercises.
So, just close your eyes and we'll do 10 breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale all the way. Hold.
Wow. What are you feeling right now after doing that?
Well, it clears the dome piece. I definitely got hot, right?
Yeah, I noticed that. My hands are a little sweaty.
Tingly.
Yeah.
And so, historically, I've done a lot of this stuff online and get the fire breath going. You can do
I love the fire breath.
in through the nose and out through the nose and get it going. My nose is a little plugged up right now. And so, but breath work is fantastic.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do the intense stuff. So I did this with RSD Tyler. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Owen Cook.
Owen Cook.
He's a fucking great dude.
He's going to be out here soon.
I love him.
Comes out this weekend.
Oh, no shit.
We should get a dinner or something, yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to Cancun.
Oh, you're going to be gone, dude. Darn.
I'm going to holler at him anyways.
Hey, you should.
He's a good dude.
He's hilarious, man.
We got a great video on there. I do the bee buzz exercise, which is a great way to activate the vagus nerve, which will put you into a parasympathetic rest and digest nervous system response, right? And so rest and digest, feed and breed. You want to be as relaxed as possible. And so it's just a very simple exercise, putting the fingers on the cranium, in the eyes, on the mandible, and in the ears, and then buzzing like a bee. And then you do it again. I don't want to want to do it right this second, but
I
it's
love
good
it.
to do like
Yeah.
6 to 10 rounds, and it really just level. I mean, I already feel it, right? It levels the playing field. It makes you very, very relaxed, activates the vagus nerve. And so, because people, people ask about how do I boost testosterone? How about lowering your fucking sleep, your stress levels?
Yeah.
How about getting some sleep optimization, right? So the sex hormones, the androgens, don't come out and play if the stress hormones are elevated. And most of us are living in chronic elevated cortisol.
Yeah.
Cortisol has a half-life of 6 hours. If you drink caffeine, it's going to activate cortisol.
Do you drink coffee?
I like coffee. I enjoy it. Coffee's got a lot of mold in it, so you got to source a good source of it. And I drink some decaf now, but I prefer to be decaffeinated because I have a bit of an addictive personality, so I can get carried away. And since I've studied coffee and my hormones, I've been off coffee for 2 to 3 years at a time for the last 15 years. Since I had children, because I really burned out when my first child came, and I was on YouTube. I've been on YouTube since 2006.
Oh, wow.
Cutting videos, working in the Amazon, cutting and editing my videos, my natural childbirth videos as well.
Oh, wow.
So I was just up late doing emails and then wondering why I was so fucking exhausted. And I studied with my mentor, went through his programs.
Paul Chek?
Paul Chek, yeah. Studied hormones, studied coffee. Paul breaks down coffee pretty well. And, you want highest quality everything if you're going to drink caffeine, especially coffee, tea, and cotton are the most sprayed crops. And then you've got Dave Asprey's work around, there's tons of mold in coffee as well. So you're going to want to get good beans, good source of coffee beans. And so, but yeah, if you want to boost your testosterone, get some good sleep.
How much sleep does an average male between 18 and 25 need?
So there's a lot of research on sleep, and the markers are 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. is optimal. You get psychological rest is from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And physiological rest is from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. And it's also said on the Chinese clock, every hour that you get to sleep before midnight is like 2 hours. So I've recently was just challenged by another mentor of mine, a bit of a psychic guy, and he's like, I'm getting a hit for you that 9 o'clock should be your bedtime. And I was like, he's like, what do I have for Troy for the new year?
I love those guys.
And he goes, and he's like, and stop eating by 5. And typically, I eat a bit later because I fast all day.
Okay.
And I train during the day and like to be fasted and eat later on. It helps me sleep as well because I'm a high oxidizer. So
Yeah.
So I was like, I could switch up my, I want more optimal health. I'm almost 60 now. And so I want a little bit of energy. I was waking up with some weird arthritis and still not as rested. And I was like, 9 o'clock's good. I like that. I went to bed at 8:30 the other day. That was good as well. And then and I stopped eating at 5, and that helped as well. So I've been waking up just in the span of 2 or 3 days. I'm like, wow, I feel much better.
Yeah.
More rested and more energized and less arthritis. And so the research shows 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. is optimal. 8 hours is a good marker. I'm more of a 9-hour guy.
Me too.
But some people are 7 hours. But the guys in the entrepreneur space and all that shit, hustle, grind. Yeah,
You're killing yourself
in your grave, motherfucker. Because you end up being one of my clients later on. I'll take your money all day long to help you get to sleep, right?
Yeah.
Or to tell you to get to sleep because you're not going to sleep.
Yeah,
it's like your dad. I gave you a couple tips, and boom, he got results. Right? Yeah. I'm all about results.
I love results.
People in today's world, they want the magic fucking blue pill. Give me the Viagra. I want a boner forever. Right? It's like, how about a natural boner forever?
Yeah, I know.
Right? How about
exactly.
that? But they don't think about it because they see it on the TV and they it's easy, right? And
yeah.
give me the silver bullet. Yeah, I'll take a pill for this.
That can't be healthy.
The fuck no.
Yeah, I've never done it.
And longevity wise, no
It
as
seems
well.
like it would ruin you. Yeah.
But those checks that you're writing now for your, staying up late and, you'll sleep when you're in the grave type of thing. And I got to wake up before the sun and, but I'm going to bed at 12 and I'm hustle, grind, got to make that cheddar, chasing paper. That will catch up to you because actually that's the biggest part of my clientele. Guys that are older, they went after the money. They got the money. The money's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Now they'll do anything to get their health back.
It's so true.
And so my message to all the young guys out there is start now. Bake these lifestyle principles into your life now. Don't wait. It's basic fundamentals. Many people are studying jiu-jitsu right now, right? Those are some, shrimping, pushing off your hips, doing the basics, arm bars, stuff like that, doing the basics. You'll always have those for the rest of your life. You train for a couple of years, you'll always have those. You get some good training principles, some good principles, fundamental principles about water, food. You'll have these for life, and that is the key to longevity, is basics over and over again. There's no need for the fancy stuff. There's no need until you have covered your bases, right? And so somebody's putting a $40,000 PMF machine in my house. And LeBron James has one, and I've got a hybrid far infrared sauna. I've got plunges dropping off a cold plunge at my house. These things are great. Most of that stuff you can find, in nature, right? If you're out hiking barefoot on those rocks out there in those trails, your feet are going to get lit up. You're going to get that electricity and the grounding and all sorts of stuff just by doing that. The PMF machine is great. I mean, you can stand on a nail bed and get the same type of electrical impulse through your body. But, somebody wants me to check it out, I'll check it out. But I don't recommend people going out and buying a $40,000 PMF machine unless they can afford it and maybe their health has declined to a major degree and they can afford it now. And if they lay down, they're going to get results, especially with their back pain and their neck pain. And so, but you still have to do the Qigong. You still have to do the sleep. You still have to do the proper eating because the $40,000 machine is not going to solve all your problems.
It's like the pill again.
Correct.
Yeah, you got to get back to the basics. What do you feel like the basics are for a man in business, right? Because you talked about staying in your lane. Like, let's say you're, 20, 21, and you don't know what your lane is. How do you find that lane?
That's a good question. And I got a message for all the young people out there because a lot of them are hitting me up on my social media. And I've hired quite a few people over the years, and not a lot of people deliver results. So become excellent. As a young man, become excellent, become proficient in that which you do. Work, intern, work with someone else that's successful. Be honest, honesty, authenticity. Just because you learned a quick skill, you have to, if you want long-term business, you have to deliver for your clients in a way that's not just a one-off. Let me get the sale, and then here's your product, and then maybe the client doesn't like the product. Oh, you deal with that. No, follow through with your delivery. Study stoicism. And the weird thing about the internet is people read a Marcus Aurelius quote, and they think they've studied stoicism, right? And it's like, dig down to bedrock, right? Do your work, become great, get in the gym, become strong, be the person that you want to attract, be strong, be clear, be the person that you want to marry. You want a girl? Will become magnetically attractive to the right girl. Otherwise, what you just get is one of these gold digger chicks that are out there 9 times out of 10, right?
Yeah.
Hoeing.
Yeah.
Right. And look, I've been there. So I'm a hoe too. Right. I'll take it.
Yep.
Well, everyone's all doped up on all this political bullshit right now. And everybody's like, oh, women's rights. And hey, I believe everyone's human rights,
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, me too.
But the fact of the matter is I'm a product of 9 abortions. I've counted them. And every single fucking girl at the time was, oh, fucking boohoo, right? And what type of scar does that leave on that girl? Right? Not only physically, sticking the coat hanger up there. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. Somebody's going to make me into Andrew Tate with that one.
You're canceled, Troy.
I jest, but
Is abortion
all joking
Yeah.
aside, those are scars on
Yeah.
those poor girls, right? And not only that, but I feel that as a man now. I've been celibate for 2 years. There's too much fuckery going on with relationships and feminism and entitlement and materialism and Botox and boob jobs and Jesus fucking Christ. And you stick your penis in a vagina, you guys are quantum entanglement of emotional bodies. And the sum total of their quantum entanglement with whoever either raped them or abused them or had sex with them and their people that they had sex with or had sex with them or abused them or etc. And it goes on and on. And I feel really clean and clear right now.
That's awesome.
Having 2 years worth of celibacy right now. And I'm very, keen. I love women.
Yeah.
And I love having sex. But at what fucking price?
To wrap it up, I'd love to hear from you, Troy. In one sentence, or not in one sentence, but in like 1 minute, if this were the last podcast that you ever spoke on, God forbid, but it were the last podcast, what would be the 1 minute segment that you would want to base your legacy on?
Well, I mean,
It's a big question, big ask.
base my legacy. Well, my legacy is baked into my mission and vision statement. So I can add to it a little bit. And I worked on it for many years. And this is a big part of my work is my new program, which is Fit and Free Legacy Method. So when you figure out your legacy and your dream and your heart's desire, you can program the mind to cut through the fabric of reality. And it's much easier to make a diet, exercise, sleep plan when you're clear about your legacy. It's much easier to pick people that you want on your dream team, right? If your buddies are drinking and doing drugs or, womanizing or going to Vegas and gambling and you're here to build an empire, Vegas can wait, right?
Yeah.
Or not right now. I'm good, So, I am a humble, kind, and gentle man. My mission is to raise human consciousness and to change all systems. That's a big fucking job.
That's a big job.
Because right now, all them fucking systems are rotten.
Yep.
I mean, I like a nice manicured lawn and shit like that, but those leaf blowers are fucking a pain in the ass. You know what I'm saying? Can we
hear 'em right now,
Can we upgrade somehow?
Yeah.
Nature has naturally built chaos and order built right into it. Do we have to have leaf blowers? I mean, I like society and I like having roads that, you can drive a nice fast sports car down and stuff like that. I just think that we can do things that are in a better way. I like swimming, surfing, going to the mountains, living in nature, living in balance, eating nutritious food, sharing meals with friends, more than I do navigating pollution, detoxing my body continuously. I just think that we can do things in a better way. Nikola Tesla invented free energy, and his laboratory was shut down by JP Morgan, which is the banking cartels, which we discussed earlier. The Rockefellers set up most of the banking situation as well as the monopolies that run our petrodollar economy. And so if we can harness the energy, the electromagnetism that's all around us, we can harness it and make wireless devices, because he also invented wireless technology. And the Wright brothers can fly like an eagle when everybody told them they were crazy, right? It was news headlines back then. Man will never fly, right? We don't think twice about it. You live right next to the Scottsdale airport.
I know.
Planes go off
Planes
all the
are
time. All the time,
And now
right?
we're on the moon too.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah.
Was it 1903 or
Was it really only less than a couple hundred years ago? 150, less than 100.
100 less than 150 years ago? So man will never fly, right? So what can we do? Free energy, that seems clean, renewable, wireless, non-harmful, like we have now, non-native 5G, discordant, energy. I'm looking at a panel of a dirty electricity right here on the ground. What do those electrical fields do to you? Get a Geiger counter in here.
I should, yeah.
Get a little measurement tool. I've got all sorts of EMF protection in my house.
Do you?
Yeah.
What can I do? Like, let's say that is a high EMF thing. Can I put like a little thing over them, like a protector?
Yeah, I have both the Quorum and I have the Aries technology, Aries Tech, and so they harmonize the fields. The Aries Tech thing is really interesting. I have it in my pocket
do you?
actually. Oh shit! I must have left it at home. Hold on. It's got like sacred geometry. I have a big one for my bed.
Oh, I've heard of these things.
And so so it harmonizes and neutralizes the non-native fields. And so you should see the big one and the sacred geometry on it. It's a trip. There's some kind of processor in it. And so I don't understand the technology exactly, but it neutralizes the 5G and the cell phone fields. So yes, I believe that we can live with harmonious energy fields. I do believe that we can live harmonious as human beings with different ideas, different philosophies. At the cornerstone, again, is the 4 human needs.
Yep.
I do believe when we use technology to create systems that are beneficial for all, like growing food and permaculture without pesticides and herbicides for GMO corn and soybeans and all the shit that we don't actually need, right? We need nutritious, wide variety of foods, right? Many different types of greens, roots, berries, barks, fruits, vegetables, and then regenerative type farm animals. Joel Salatin, very famous guy on Food Inc., and he was Ty Lopez's mentor as well. It's kind of a weird thing.
It is weird, yeah.
And so
he's an interesting guy.
Yeah, but Joel Salatin's fantastic, and I've been following his work for a long time. I'm friends with him online.
Cool.
And
what are your thoughts, real quick? Sorry to take up. What are your thoughts on eating animals? Because I know some people that are like, they align with you on a lot of the worldviews, but the animals are like, oh, we got to protect the animals. It's not right to kill and eat animals. What are your thoughts? Because you're pro Mother Nature.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who is a little doped up on vegan memes or vegan ideals, I think this is just another part of the eugenics philosophy to really dumb down and weaken people. Do I believe that we can elevate our energy field and vibrate higher to where we can live off of sunlight and breath and prana? Yes, I do. Are we there right now? No. So give me a fucking ribeye for dinner tonight. Because that's what I'm going to eat, right? Or some lamb chops, right? Grass-fed, of course.
Yeah.
So I went down the vegan road, and I'm here to tell you, if you don't have B12 and other certain vitamins and amino acids, you're going to go through a process called gluconeogenesis, where the body breaks itself down and catabolizes its own tissue to feed the brain. And so, and I went through that process. I lost a ton of weight. I got skinny fat, and I was extremely anemic.
Wow.
So when it comes to food and understanding, just look at biology. The closed organic life cycle. Energy from the sun is converted through photosynthesis into chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is an exact match to your hemoglobin with an electron transfer of iron and magnesium. Magnesium comes from the green and the iron comes from your blood. And there's an electron transfer, and so it's a perfect match for you. So then the herbivores eat the plants, and then the omnivores eat the herbivores and the plants, and everybody dies, and the little animals eat everything, the microbes, going back to Mother Nature's garbage cleaners. So when you're not living a pure life, Mother Nature will come and clean your carcass and prepare it for the dirt.
Wow.
And you see this with a lot of vegans because they're walking around very sickly, and they usually have candida outbreaks, overblown fungal infections, gut dysbiosis. Skin issues, anything on the skin is fungal related, right? So the inside of the gut is directly related to your skin. So your skin's a reflection of your insides. And so everyone dies, and the microbes decompose the carcasses and prepare the rocks, the minerals for the uptake of the plant, which the plants are carnivorous. So life eats life. This is the closed organic life cycle. So understanding life and that death is a part of life, and that ultimately there is no death. We are immortal, right? Our soul is immortal. This is just the experience on the physical plane. Is my understanding, right? This is my philosophy, my understanding. I can think it through, talk it through. I viscerally had some experiences spiritually on that plane as well. And so, but the clarion call is always to evolve to the next level, right? To vibrate higher. What does that look like? I don't know. I am present in this moment right now. I'm living here in this present moment. I can get a glimpse of it sometimes in meditation or in my spiritual studies. But for right now, we're dealing with jackhammers and leaf blowers and the skies that are covered in whatever's coming out of those planes, and the intense energy of everybody trying to make money in Scottsdale, Arizona, right? And while people are trying to be peaceful and start a family and be harmonious, and so that we don't turn into Gaza, Israel, type of situation. I mean, the world's crazy. The last thing we want is civil war on this land. We want peace on this earth.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Right. The fact that we got the Second Amendment in place, I think, is a really good thing, because I think the Second Amendment is the only thing holding freedom for everyone else.
Why?
Well, because if the Americans didn't have the guns, then what you see in Canada and New Zealand and Australia would have already happened here. So there's something very special about the United States of America, and not that I'm egotistical because I'm an American. It's because it does represent freedom. Our God-given rights were written on a piece of paper. So never before in history, and slavery is basically history, right? We've all enslaved each other, right? And feudalism. And so never has our God-given rights been written on a piece of paper. We should be able to express our ideas freely, right? Freedom of speech. I should be able to pray to the God that I like, or my idea of it, right? And gather with my other brothers and sisters and maybe discuss these ideas. That should be free, right? And the town square where we used to share our ideas are now social media. And if you follow Edward Snowden and WikiLeaks, these things are, the censorship is real right now. If you followed the elections, this is all real. And what we're seeing from the news is propaganda and false flags.
Yeah.
Right? And things are like,
No kidding.
whoa, this is what happened on January 6th. Really? That's not what the tape shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm
it's weird, dude.
I'm like, oh, really? That happened? Oh, this is what happened on the election. Really? well, what's this fucking lady over here carrying this bag of shit over here to this? Or like, that looks like a bunch of fuckery. Like, shouldn't that be investigated? Oh, it was investigated. But it waited all the way to this corrupt judge, and then the corrupt judge said, nuh-uh. But you're like, well, wait a second. And then here's this other guy that's fucking kind of popular in the world, and then this other doofus, right? And then this guy gets the most votes of anyone on the history of the planet ever. And then the doofus gets, no, he got more. You're like, what? It's all childish. And then if you say something that disputes any of it, it's like, oh, you're one of those January 6th insurrection. You're Alex Jones, Andrew Tate, Trump. You're Holocaust denier. God damn it, right? You know, it's just like,
start
you're
demonizing
Kanye
you, yeah.
West. Oh man, it's so funny. And then what's happening with I love Twitter now, because Twitter is kind of free speech.
I was
right?
going to ask you your thoughts on Twitter.
I kind of like it, but also it's just it's come kind of doom and gloom. And let's get the Epstein list out. Like, what did that dude do? He's already convicted, raping little girls, right? He's already convicted. Well, who are his cohorts? Who are his friends? Who's hanging out those islands where he raped girls, right? Raped children. And it's like, isn't that worthy of looking into, especially if those people that raped other people were actually running our political structure? Why is that? And our propaganda headquarters, which is Hollywood. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's worthy of investigation. Mm-hmm. Like, what? You don't want to look underneath the everything that gets pushed underneath the rug, like the Catholic Church, but you look under that and it's like, wow, there's a lot of pedophilia over there. Like that can't be good, right? Like, how's that like good, right? And so, like, don't we want peace and harmony, or is, the elites really drinking the blood of tortured children? Is this like, how does the world work? Does it really work? Like, everybody just makes some money and everyone goes to bed happily ever after. But that's not the way it is in Gaza. That's not the way it is in Rwanda. That's not the way it is in Afghanistan and Syria and Libya and Venezuela. Like, what happened to that shithole? Right? That place was thriving. Right? And so, man, yeah, these politicians, I mean, what do I say? I don't know what to say about the politicians. This is why my clarion call to all men out there is clean up your fucking side of the street. Don't be a dishonest fucking schmuck. Don't be a dickhead when it comes to women, right? Figure out who you are, the power that you have, the integrity that you have. Show up like a man. Don't lie, cheat, and steal. If you're going to take steroids, tell people, I'm on steroids. This is where I get my muscle. I see these marketers in Scottsdale, Arizona. He's like, I have muscles because when I shake another man's hand, I want them to know that they're in business with somebody that's disciplined. It's like, fuck you, motherfucker. You're a lying fucking drug addict. You're taking steroids, you fucking faggot. It's like, what the fuck? He's like, they shake my hand. He's got his muscle hanging out. I'm disciplined. No, you're not. You're fucking a drug addict. Fucking disciplined. You're a liar. How about you're a fucking liar? And if that lie's coming out of your mouth, what else are you selling? Your program, your secret winning sales formula, and all this other bullshit.
I think I know who you're talking about.
They're a dime a dozen, those guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
That's the thing.
One guy I do respect is, what are your thoughts on Hermosi? I like him.
I like Hermosi.
Yeah.
He's on steroids, but
he admits it.
Yeah.
He admits it.
Exactly.
I read his recent post. He's all shirtless. He's like, I'm excited to see all the steroid comments. Guys, FYI, I've been open about my steroid use since the beginning.
Yeah. And he's actually increased his whatever stack he was doing. Because
he's bigger.
He got fucking extremely puffy. And, they're making a lot of money right now. And his wife and him are so lovely. I like them. There's something special I like about them. Although I would like to steer them all away from this fucking plastic surgery and just like, because it's short-lived. It's like, it's going to look cute right now. But, I thought his wife was stunning, before. I like that look on a woman, like Middle Eastern or Latin American. and I was like, fucking nose job and the fucking lips, and I was like, oh, slow down, honey, because it looks weird when you get older.
Does it?
You see it in Scottsdale, dude.
That's true.
I mean, I got a fucking lifetime, dude. Dude, you see it in Scottsdale, man. The face like gets weird, or they get sick of injecting, or they get the boobs out too. That's the other thing, because you get thoracic outlet syndrome, or you get some type of autoimmune issue.
Yeah.
I mean, these things weigh a few ounces or whatever. When you get braces, this is just like an ounce of pressure, right? You can literally move the skull and open up the teeth. So if you've got breasts that are holding you down, what's that doing to your forward neck posture? It's going to affect your hormones. It's going to affect your outlook on life. And you see it's so rigid. Same thing with the guys on steroids. Like as we get older, you want to become a benevolent wise man, not a rigid fucking 20-year-old ready to fight somebody, right? It's like that's getting old guy. You know, he's losing his hair because the steroids affect the hair as well.
Yeah.
And so anyways, the Hermosis, I love them. They're amazing.
Yep.
I appreciate them. I think he's doing, really, really, really good work. And who knows? Maybe I'll get on steroids when I'm 60, 65 and start competing with these motherfuckers. Right?
Come out of the woodworks. Comment down below if you want Troy to enter in a bodybuilding contest at 70.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious.
Start chucking some steroids down my neck or shooting them in my ass. How do they get them? I think they shoot them in their ass. Right?
I thought they did too. I have a buddy that's on them, and I guess they do the stomach. They grab in the stomach. I guess if you're doing a lot of dosage, you got to put it. Yeah, I don't know. My buddy, he actually started having like cardiac problems before he was on steroids. Supposedly he's a big TRT proponent. I'd be curious. I'll show you his stuff off the camera. But to wrap this up, I think.
Well, let me just say.
Let's hear it, yeah.
Look, I don't have anything against drugs. Drugs work like a fucking charm. I love drugs. But if I love drugs so much, and there's ups and downs, right? Because there's side effects, right? Otherwise, I'd be on coke all the time since the 80s in Miami, right? Coke fucking works like a charm. Drugs work like a charm. What are the side effects? Go to the manufacturer's website. The side effects are right there. And if I have to be dependent upon exogenous hormones are so important for the human body. If I have to be dependent on the man or a man for my own hormones, for my own health, if I can't go out into the wild and figure it out and survive like we did, before the last 200 years, I want to have that man element in my fucking nuts, right? I want that potential to be there. Drugs work. Drugs work like a charm. Steroids work like a charm. Everybody's on them. I'm here to tell you, you can do it without. And I've been off of them. I've never tried anabolic steroids. My mentor, Paul Chek, just did a rock stack. I think it's 20 plus feet tall and a couple of those big rocks, and try and lift up 100, 150, 250, 300 pound rock. Just try and lift it because they're oblong and you got to kind of like.
That's true strength.
He built a fucking rock stack that's 22 feet in the air. Go look at it on his Facebook.
Whoa.
That's without steroids as well. Eugene Sandow that set world record. I think he does a one-handed kettlebell, 303 pounds over his head. Circus performer. Back in the day, steroids weren't even on the market. So take your drugs if you like drugs, but don't bullshit yourself. This is the #1 narcotic on the planet.
Very true.
Dave Asprey made a lot of money with that, right?
Yeah, bulletproof coffee.
That's right. Coffee's a good drug, right? It's a great narcotic. And look, if you don't know anything about narcotics, just watch Narcos on Netflix. It's a fucking brilliant show. Both the Mexican and the Colombians.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I went 6 months in 2022, no coffee. And I could see myself both ways. I'm going to do some more research, though, because I have noticed everyone's dependent on coffee. And sometimes I'll even like not drink it. And then if I don't drink it, what are the side effects? Right? Because that's how you know if you're actually addicted. Like if you stop taking the thing, how do you feel?
Headaches and body aches for myself. So
Yeah.
I have a coffee bean trick that I teach my clients. So it weans them off. It weans them off caffeine without any side effects. And so, which is a good tool because you want to know what it's like as a man to not have drugs in your body, and to be able to get good sleep, right? And to go on and off coffee. So coffee, you're not addicted. You're not a slave to it. And so if you're going to drink coffee, just go all organic. Go as pure as possible. Espresso is the healthiest, right? Illy wrote a 1,000-page document. Paul Chek read all of it, and then he taught about an hour worth of coffee in his advanced courses. And so, so find a good coffee house, and get a pull once a day. I still do I did a decaf espresso today, and I do one of those about once a day because I kind of like the ritual. But still, right around the corner from that is caffeine.
What do you think of decaf? Because for me, aren't they taking the caffeine out? Isn't it non-natural? Isn't it better to just take the pure source? Or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it is. And I don't get that caffeinated hit.
Okay.
And it's the caffeine that ends up jacking me up. And then I don't like the way it makes my teeth feel. I don't like the way it makes my gut feel. And coffee affects the gut for sure.
Yeah. I heard you're supposed to drink, you're supposed to have food with coffee. You're not supposed to do it on an empty stomach because it's very acidic, right? Yeah, that's interesting. Well, this has been a great podcast. I really appreciate you coming on, Troy. I know this is going to serve the audience, and I think you're going to get some great content as well. I know after listening to this, they're going to want more of you. So where do they find Troy Casey online?
Yeah, well, I'm easy to find. I've been on YouTube for almost 2 decades, completely. And so YouTube, Twitter, I'm Mr. Health Nut over there, and then Certified Health Nut everywhere else. TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook and LinkedIn as Troy Casey over there. And yeah, connect with me on social media. I like to give away as much content for free. My main objective with business is to automate and scale my business so I can be in front of the camera. That's my effortless genius. I like to bring as much joy, knowledge, good cheer to humanity. I like to be the human cheerleader as much as possible. And so I automate and scale my business so that takes care of everything else. That's my main objective in business. That's
a great philosophy. Cool. Well, thanks so much for jumping on the podcast, Troy. It's been an awesome episode. We'll get this out to you.
All right. Congratulations. If you made it to the end of the video, you're a 1%er. So do me a favor, do a couple things for me. Number one, share this with someone that you feel like would get tremendous value from this video. And then number two, we've got content that'll help you level up and bridge the gap in multiple areas of life. Your belief systems, your mindset, your body, your business, your brotherhood, your babe. So all you got to do is hit the link right here to watch my most recent video on how to bridge the gap with your belief system, with your body, with your business, with your brotherhood, and help you find a babe. See you guys in the next video.